What's up, YouTube? This is Chris, the Unprofessional Dad, and I am back with another knife video. And tonight, I've got something a little bit different. Well, depends on what you call different. Actually, just pretty much the same. I'm talking about knives to some pretty cool people, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching me. Well, tuning in, this ain't like TV channels or anything, but I appreciate you clicking on my video and watching what I have to say. I appreciate everybody that has been commenting on my videos, checking out what I've got going on. I've gotten some really good positive feedback from you all. It's been really encouraging. I've made some pretty good friends on here that I've really enjoyed talking to. I've heard some good stories. You know, I've met people from around the world, people that I really look forward to linking up with in one way or the other, whether it be on Skype or possibly even one day in person. But I really have enjoyed this process, and I've enjoyed the people participation far more than I have the knives, and that is true. I very, very much appreciate that, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. It wasn't just so that I could talk about knives, but it was so that I could communicate with other people who were just as enthusiastic about knives as I was. And success. I have totally and completely ran across a bunch of people who are just as enthusiastic and just as knowledgeable about knives and blade steels and the different companies and models and brands out there as I am. So it's been a complete joy for me, and I really appreciate it. And because of that, again, I want to tell everybody about my contest that's going on right now. It's a super cool contest that I'm absolutely thrilled to be hosting. And on January the 3rd of 2025, right after New Year's and after everybody's all, fattened up from the Thanksgiving and then Christmas meals and everybody's in a really good mood, I want to start somebody's year off the right way. My year off the right way by doing some karma, some good things for the people in the world, and, just paying it forward. But starting somebody else's year off the right way, because they're going to get a $200 budget to Blade HQ on me. The winner of this contest is going to get to go on to Blade HQ and pick out anything that they want up to $200, whether it be one really nice premium knife of high quality, a good name brand like Spyderco or whatever, or it could be several knives, budget knives that they have their eyes on, or anything like that. Gifts that they, last minute Christmas gifts that they wasn't able to pull off in time. Use that $200 budget however the winner sees fit. But that's going to be on me. I'm going to send it right to their door. Now, the way that you enter that contest is real simple. It's real simple. All you have to do is like one of my videos, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment about knives. About a knife story, a knife that you like, a knife that you want, a knife that I have, something about one of my videos, something about another knife channel that you watched. I don't care what it is. As long as it involves knives, it's good to go with me. I don't care what it is. It can be a bad, negative story. You could have had a knife and it was a traumatic experience and it changed your opinion about knives. Whatever. I don't care as long as it's centered around knives. But having said that, I can't wait to give somebody a $200 budget. It's going to be really, really cool for me. And I hope it's just as thrilling for the person that wins. Now, let's get on to the video that I've got going on tonight. What I've got going on tonight, now there's several knives on this table that are stars of previous videos. Some of these you've seen before. Some of these you might have seen more than once. But somebody brought me up a good idea. They said, you've done a video on the different types of knife steels. Why don't you do a video about the best knife steels? Pretty much basically, what are the capabilities? Which ones are better than the others? What are their capabilities? What can they do? What can they not do? What would you be willing to put your knife through, the different steels? Just because something's a stainless steel or just because it's a high carbon steel doesn't mean that you can do the same things that you can to that knife that you can to another knife with stainless steel, like LC200, the Salt series. You know, that thing, I would put it in a daggone the ocean and leave it sit there for 2 months, and they've done it. And go back in 2 months, and that thing's still going to be, you know, for the most part, corrosion free. Now, you put a normal stainless steel knife or a normal, definitely a high carbon knife, you put it in there for 2 months in salt water, and that sucker, you go back and it's going to be eat up. But I wouldn't take that LC200 out there and start batoning on it. I tell you that right now, that sucker's not going to last very long. It's going to get chipped and broke pretty quick. So what are the capabilities of these knife steels? So what I've got, you know, it's wintertime right now. What do we do in wintertime? We cut firewood. We process a lot of wood. You know, people go camping. I'm a big time, like, I love camping, but one thing I hate is the heat. And I am so allergic to bugs. My kids are like that too. If I get a single mosquito or a chigger bite, I will welt up and I itch and scratch until there's sores. And I mean, it's just terrible. I'm so allergic. That's the only thing in my life that I've ever found that I'm allergic to is bee stings and bug bites. That's it. Other than that, I've never found a single thing that I'm allergic to. My kids are the same exact way. So I don't like going camping in the summertime. I will, and I do, but I don't like it. But now camping in the wintertime, the colder it is, the better. The more snow on the ground, the better. I got really good at going out and taking a piece of plastic and some aluminum foil, or a piece of plastic and like an emergency blanket. And I'm telling you, that's all I need. And I can go to the woods, and I can, in the middle of the snow on the ground, and I will be warm and toasty, as long as you know what you're doing. So I've processed a lot of wood out there in the woods doing this, and this is the time for that. This is the time where people are going to be going camping. People are going to be processing wood for their fireplaces, you know, different things like that. Processing wood is a lot more than chopping it with an axe. You got to feather stick wood. You've got to baton some wood for kindling and different things like that. So what better thing to do a video on than the different, you know, type of Scandi grind type knives, or the knives like the high carbon steels, or the Benchmades, or the Essie knives that you can actually take out to the woods and baton and beat on. So I've got a bunch of those knives here. We're going to go over the different ones, what their capabilities are, what steels they're made out of, and, you know, what different things that they're going to be good at and what things they're not going to be good at. You know, some of them are really going to be good at starting fire with a ferro rod. Some of them don't have, you know, sharp edges on top of the blade, so you can't do it. But there are ways that you could fix that with a file or a grinder or something like that, which I don't recommend doing, because I don't like beating up on my knives and wearing them out. You avoid any warranty. But also, you know, you start messing with the integrity of the steel and the blades and different things like that. So I know some people do that. Teach their own. If it's their knife, go for it. It's your knife. Do whatever you want to with it. I don't do that kind of stuff. So if it's going to be a ferro rod that I'm going to be using, I'm going to take a knife that can strike a ferro rod. But so let's just go through some different knives. Like I said, some of these knives you will have seen before. A couple of them I've recently got. You know, so I haven't really been able to do anything with them at all, but I've watched a lot of videos on them. I know their capabilities. I know the steel that they have, and I have used those steels in different, you know, situations before. So I am a little experienced with that, but we're just gonna go down the line, and we're gonna go from the least expensive to the most expensive, and we're gonna go right down the line. And along this process and journey, we're going to come up with almost every steel that there is. So, well, not every one, but we're going to come up with a lot of different variations of steel. The very first one that we're going to start with is one that every knife enthusiast or knife collector or practically knife owner should know, especially if you're an outdoorsman. Everybody knows the Mora. Now, this is the Mora Basic 511. Now, these things are awesome for one reason above all, and that is because they are dirt cheap. Now, when I say cheap, I mean affordable, because these things are not cheap in quality. They're actually pretty daggone good for what they are and for the price that they are. But affordability wise, they knock this sucker out of the ballpark. It's a home run all day long. You can get the 511 for under $10 daggone dollars. And I'm going to tell you, you can take those things, buy 2 or 3, give them away as gifts, put them in tackle boxes, tool boxes, truck, glove compartments, backpacks, everything else. If you lose one, whatever, don't matter, because they're so affordable. But these things are incredible. The Mora is in my opinion, one of the best all-around camping survival knives that there are. Not just because of the price, but because of the steel, the high carbon steel that they use, the fit and finish, the price, all the way around. When you take it collectively, there's plenty of knives out there that can do more than this thing can, but when you take it, as a total package and you compare everything, the price, the capabilities, things like that, it's hard to beat a daggone Mora. It's one of the best knives out there, hands down. Now, I wouldn't, you can process or, you can do food prep and stuff with them, but they're not the best at that kind of thing. But man, processing wood, these things are incredible, and they come out of the box razor sharp. Now, this one's not, because I've sharpened a whole lot of pencils with it. Like I tell you all in all my videos, the majority of things I do with my knives are sharpen pencils for my kids, coloring pencils, regular pencils, things like that. So, but this is a Mora. Now, the Mora 511 Basic, you can get it in stainless steel, which I'm pretty sure is just like a 440, 420 or 440. I might be wrong on that. Fact check me, guys. Let me know in the comments. But it's just a general stainless steel. It's nothing special, nothing super elaborate or expensive. It's just a general stainless steel. Or you can get it in high carbon steel. Now, the high carbon steel is the way to go with these things. They do rust. They will corrode on you big time. But these things are durable. You can beat and bang on these. Now, here's one of the things about the 511 Basic. You cannot strike a ferro rod with these. They are not for that. They have rounded tops on the top, so you cannot strike a ferro rod. But they have an excellent Scandi grind. One of the best Scandi grinds on the market when you talk about, wood prepping and stuff like that. This thing right here, you can baton with it. You can feather stick with it. Super capable of feather sticking. Batoning, you can definitely baton. I would want something a little bit thicker. I have batoned with these before, but you're pushing the capabilities of it when you start batoning on it. Once or twice or a little bit here and there, you can definitely pull it off. It's going to be just fine. But doing it consistently a lot, you're really putting this blade to the limits. Now, this is not a full tang knife. It just goes about I think 1/3 of the way up. So it's not a full tang knife. So the handle is going to snap long before the blade does. And these things are great. They have a really good injection molded plastic sheath that has a drain hole at the bottom. Excellent retention. You can carry it upside down. You can do whatever. These things ain't going nowhere. But the Mora Basic 511 is an excellent knife that if you're just going out on a light camping trip for the weekend, if you've got kids and you're wanting to teach them the basics of camping, starting fires, different things like that, there's no better knife to start with than the Basic 511, because it is capable of so many things. This is one of those jack of all trades, ace of none. It's going to do so many different things for you in the woods. It's really capable. Again, you can baton with it. How much you're going to baton with it, I wouldn't put it through too much batoning. But feather sticking all day long. And here's another thing. Remember, high carbon steel, is going to be super easy to sharpen. So if you've got like that work sharp field sharpener that I showed you all in a couple of videos ago, if you carry something like that on you, or a ceramic rod, or a honing rod or something like that, you can keep that edge really nice and razor sharp, and just feather stick away. You know, start you a couple fires, do whatever you need to do. The Mora Basic 511 is one of the knives that every single knife collection has to have. Now there's all kinds of Moras. There's the Garberg, there's the bushcraft, which we'll be talking about in a second. There's a bunch of them. But the Basic 511 is a knife that every single knife collector or knife owner needs to have in their arsenal. It's a phenomenal knife that you can't beat, and if you break it, if you lose it, if you give it away, I've done that so many times. I've literally had these things and literally just somebody likes it or somebody needs a knife and I'll just hand it to them, here you go, use this, and then they try to hand it back. No, just keep it. You might need it again sometime soon because they're so affordable. You know, you want to get somebody into knives that doesn't normally carry knives or use knives a lot. That's an excellent way. You're giving them a high quality knife, you know, that you're not worried about because of the cost, but you're giving them something that they can really get a lot of use out of. You know, the Moras are excellent, and those things are really cheap. But I'm going to tell you something else that's pretty affordable that they have started selling at Walmart. Now, I've talked a little bit about these recently in some other videos. Walmart has started selling some Swiss Tech knives that are insane. I mean, insane for the price that they're coming in at. This thing is it's like the Halt Bar or something like that. It's called the Halt Bar, but it's made by Swiss Tech. This thing has micarta handles. It's incredibly thick blade stock. It's got jimping all the way up the blade to here. I mean, and that's good jimping. It comes with the lanyard hole with the string in it so you don't drop it. It's a good looking knife. Now this is VG10 steel. VG10. Now VG10 is a Japanese stainless steel. I have not used this thing in the woods, so I'm not going to tell you how great it is at doing this or that or anything else. What I am going to tell you is what I've seen on videos that I've watched, people in the knife community that I trust their opinion. I have watched them put this very knife through so many different paces. They have beat them to death. They have literally tried to break the knife. I have not seen it break yet. And that, a lot of it comes from that blade stock, how thick that is. You know, you can get these things around $40, $40 to $50 at any Walmart. And I'm telling you right now, from what I know about knives, I've got some really expensive knives on this table, some really nice ones. I would be just as comfortable and confident going to the woods with this knife right here as I would with any knife on this table. Any knife on this table. Hands down. Would other knives on this table make it a lot more easy, a lot quicker, a lot less work? Absolutely. But is this knife capable of doing anything that any knife on this table is capable of doing? I believe it is, 100%. With the VG10 steel, the micarta handles, the thick blade stock, the excellent flat grind. I mean, this has got an excellent flat grind, and the geometry of that edge, incredibly sharp. That edge is going to be super easy to hone and get it back on par when it starts going dull. It's got a really nice profiled tip. You can use this, I would baton with this, feather stick with this. Now, This, I said I wouldn't baton that much. I would, but I wouldn't baton that much. This, I would baton this thing all day long. There is no question about it. I would baton the heck out of this thing. Now, it does have a sharp spine, so you can ferro rod strike with this thing. It is completely capable of that. One of the things that I don't like about this is that you know, that thing gets dropped in the woods and some leaves and twigs. It's going to be hard to find. I do like, that's hard to tell because all of my knives are natural or dull colors and stuff like that, so it's hard to say that. But if I'm going out to the woods, it'd be nice to, what I do a lot of times is I'll take electrical tape, orange electrical tape or neon green electrical tape, and I will tape it around the handle, something that I can take back off. And the reason I use electrical tape is because it's not going to leave that residue on the handle. So you can wrap it right around there and then take it right back off when you're done. But if you drop it in the woods, if you lose it in some sticks or something like that, simple, no problem. You'll be able to find that thing. I also like taking, just a little side note, taking electrical tape is really cool because you can mark trees and different things like that for paths and different things. So electrical tape like a neon orange or green or yellow or something like that, that's a really good cool thing. Now they do have that kind of orange rolls of marking. I can't remember what it's called. It's not really tape, it's just polyurethane like stuff that comes in rolls, and you can pull it off and tear what you need and wrap it around a tree, and it's very vibrant and bright and stuff. But I digress. This knife is amazing. I am so impressed with SwissTech. You can baton with this thing, you can feather stick with this thing. There's nothing that you can't do. I have not, like I said, I've not seen them break these on any of the videos that I've watched, and I've seen them try to break them, literally. I think the Dutch boys do a video on this. Several people do a video on the SwissTech knives, and I've never seen them break. These things are really, really good quality knives, and you can get these things just super affordable, going down to your local Walmart. And again, if you're wanting a really good bushcraft knife, survival knife, whatever you want to call it, I call them bushcraft knives. If you want a really good bushcraft knife, not like a machete or something, but just a knife, and you don't have the budget, even like this Joker that we'll get to, even the Jokers, are 90, 100 bucks and stuff. If you don't have the budget for that, but look at this. Look at that. Now this, and I'll get to this in a minute, this is Sandvik C1428N, but look at the profile, look at the handles. A lot of similarities there. Now there's a lot of differences there as well, but a lot of similarities there. And if you can't afford or don't want to spend the money, $100 on this Trampero, but you want a nice bushcraft knife, I'm telling you right now, this is an excellent knife. Excellent knife. And I would trust my, comfort, warmth, shelter, anything else, I would trust it with this knife, hands down, no question. And now it does come with a leather sheath that stinks, but it is SwissTech. I mean, they gave us a great knife. We can't get everything for that budget. And the sheath is a leather. It's crappy. It's a very crappy quality. It does, snap there. It does have a pocket clip right here, and this pocket clip is the worst pocket clip I've ever seen on a daggone knife. It is just, it is garbage. It is garbage. It is what it is. It can't be perfect in every area, but for the money, it's a daggone good knife. Now, that's not the only SwissTech knife that's out there right now. They also have, now it's also in another Japanese steel. and it is another Swiss Tech. This is in AUS 8, another one in micarta handles, in AUS 8 steel. It has a very sharp spine, but it also has a groove right here. If you can see that groove on the right here, that groove, that is because the sheath, injection molded, comes with a ferrule rod that has a micarta handle, and this thing strikes well. That's a pretty good package, right around the same price, $55. Now, another great thing about this sheath is this. You can rotate this to where you can carry it appendix cross draw. You can carry it vertical on your belt. You know, whatever you want to do. It's a pretty good injection molded sheath. It does have really good retention. Really good retention. Little bit of wiggle in there, but that's up by the blade. That's not down here. You can hear the blade rattle in there just a little bit, but that's it. It's got a bunch of holes and stuff here, so you can put some different, if you wanted to take this off and you wanted to put it like a T-clip or something on it, you could, or you can also use paracord and do a para wrap. So it has a lot of different options. It has a really nice red aluminum spacer up here with a hole for a lanyard, and this comes with the lanyard cord just like this one does. I just don't have it on here. Now, the great thing about this is, you know, this is going to be just as, it's not as thick as the other one, the blade stock, but it's still pretty thick. AUS 8, I don't know if AUS 8 is as durable as VG10 is. VG10, I think, is definitely better on the durability and the strength-wise goes. But it is still a Japanese stainless steel, so it's going to be pretty good on corrosion resistance, but the blade is also coated. The other one is not. This is a coated blade, so it's going to give you extra corrosion resistance. This is a full tang blade all the way up to this aluminum spacer, so I really can't call it a full tang blade because this aluminum spacer is separate from the blade stock, but slight jimping right there that I wouldn't really call jimping. But this is another, now this has a different profiled edge. If you see that, it's got a false edge right here. I guess you could sharpen that if you wanted to make it almost like a dagger tip. I would never do that, but it does have a false edge that's pretty narrow, so you could do that. This is going to still be great at feather sticking. I have feather sticked with this. I have taken this when I took my boys to Boonesboro State Park here, that's close to where I live. The Daniel Boone National Forest, Boonesboro Fort and stuff like that. We went and done all that. We did. I tried out some of these knives and stuff like that. It did feather stick. It did not feather stick nowhere near as good as the Mora's did. But that's because of this grind. The grind is not a Scandi grind. It's a flat grind. And if you're wanting to feather stick, you really want that Scandi grind. That Scandi grind is going to do much, much better on that feather sticking. That Scandi grind right there at the bottom, that is what you want for feather sticking. This is not a Scandi grind. That is a flat grind. And that flat grind right there is not at all good. I mean, you can feather stick with it, and I did, but it's nowhere near as good at feather sticking as the Mora's. It's just not. But you can baton with this. I did baton with it a little bit. It did have some trouble going through the wood. I will tell you again, it's because of that grind. It was getting hung up inside the wood, and I was really having to beat on it to get it to go all the way through. That grind is not conducive for that. Now, this is a knife that is made for wood prep and stuff like that, but it is just not going to give you the same capabilities that a Scandi grind Mora or something like that will. But all in all, again, this is another knife. If you're not looking to spend a whole bunch of money, this is a great knife. And you can get it at Walmart, and it comes with a great injection molded sheath. It comes with a micarta wrapped ferro rod. A great knife, around 50 bucks. Now this Mora right here is the bushcrafter, and I'm going to tell you, this thing is awesome. Now it's not the Garberg, and that's the best Mora there is, but this is a really good Mora. Another one with the drain hole in the bottom. This is a rubber handle. This is more almost completely full tang. This is another high carbon. You can get this in different stainless steels as well. This is a high carbon. This is a black coated high carbon to give you that extra corrosion resistance. Now, to where this one, the 511, did not have a sharp spine so you could strike ferro rods, this is designed, and it is a super sharp spine. It will eat a ferro rod up. I mean, it will eat it up. This will destroy wood. This will feather stick through wood like it is not there. It will, I mean, feather stick away. You can baton with this. It's got a good sized blade stock. This is the bushcraft. It is literally made for bushcrafting. You can baton with this knife. You can, now this is about a $45 knife. So you're getting a lot of capabilities with this knife for $45. Again, a rubber coated handle. Feels really good in the hand. It's contoured really nice for your hand. It's comfortable because it's that soft rubber. There is no jimping on the blade, but that grind, if you know anything about bushcrafting, if you know anything about Moras, the grind on these things is what sets them apart. And again, they come out of the box razor sharp. Now again, this is a high carbon steel, so this is incredibly durable. You can baton with this one. This one, not so much. This one, you can baton all day long with this. You can beat the tar out of this thing, and it is just going to keep going. It will chew through wood like it's nobody's business. As long as you've got you a good ferro or a honing rod or a ceramic rod or any type of sharpener at all, just even a leather belt to strop it a little bit, you're going to be able to keep your edge honed at least enough until you can get back out of the woods and sharpen it. This thing is highly, highly capable. I would take this knife anywhere and be just comfortable doing anything I needed to do with it. For $40 to $50, you are getting so much ability in this knife right here. This knife might be, it's just hard to beat this daggone knife. There's a lot of good knives on this table. There really are. There's so many. Like I said about this knife all the way around, it's one of the best knives out there because of the package, what you can do with it, and the price. As far as capabilities and the price, this is as good as anything on the table, and $40 to $50. I mean, it is, if I had to choose between these two, there's no question. This one all day long. This is just, it is so much power in this knife. The Mora bushcraft, if you've not tried one out, if you've not tested it, if you've not seen one in action, watch some videos on them, get one in your hand and watch it just chew through wood like it ain't there. It's like a weed eater for wood. You just turn it on and you just take weeds out. This thing, same thing with wood. You just start feather sticking wood and it just slides through that like Moses through the Red Sea. It just parts. It's that good, and it's all because of that grind and that high carbon steel. Now this, you are going to have to wax this blade. It is going to corrode. This blade is already starting to corrode, if you didn't notice when I had that out. This blade is going to corrode. It's going to corrode, you know, relatively quick. You've got to wax them. That's just all there is to it. It is some work. You got to take care of this knife. If you don't, it's going to rust on you really bad, especially if it gets wet. If you use it around water a lot, this knife is going to rust and corrode. So you got to take care of your knife. If you take care of it, it'll take care of you. Now, this next knife is another high carbon knife. This is not a knife that you want to use for feather sticking and batoning, but you can if you want to. This is a high carbon knife. This is an outdoors knife that you can take camping. You can do some of that stuff lightly. This is the Rat 3, the Ontario Rat 3, high carbon. I think it's 1095 high carbon steel. Excellent jimping on it. But this has got a flat grind. This is a slicer. I mean, this thing is a slicer. Not so much because it's got this textured black coating that's going to keep the blade from getting corrosion and stuff like that and rust. Still going to happen, but it's going to prevent it far longer because of that coating. It is a full tang knife with wood scales, wood handles. Excellent hardware. It's got a hole at the top for a lanyard. Comes with a really nice leather sheath. It's good quality. Now this is a $70 knife. It's really thin blade stock, really thin. This is a knife that you could feather stick with it. You might be able to baton with it a little bit. I wouldn't too much because it's really thin. That tip, the way that grind is it narrows, it tapers to the tip. So you are going to run the risk of damaging your tip. Even though it's 1095 high carbon steel, there is limits to what you can do. This is incredibly, for what it is, how the metal is incredibly durable, but there's only so much metal there. So you gotta take care of your stuff, and you don't want to get carried away. Just because it's high carbon steel doesn't mean that you want to go out there and start beating on it with a big log and wearing it out and stuff like that. Yes, that is what high carbon steel is for. It's for chopping and stuff like that. But this knife with the grind and stuff like that, I think that they should have made it in a stainless steel because it's a slicer. This is a knife that, with the sheath and everything and the grind, it's meant to be on your hip, that you can take to the woods. You can pull it out. You can prep food with it. You can just an all-around camp knife. You can use it all around the camp. So it would have been a much better knife in high carbon, or not high carbon, but in stainless steel. And for whatever reason, it's price has a lot to do with it. Price has a lot to do with it. Why they do it out of high carbon steel, because that is a more affordable steel. But this isn't a knife that I'm going to go out to the woods and beat on and baton with. It's just not thick enough. But I'm telling you, the Ontario Rat 3, just like the Rat 1 folder, is a great all-around knife. This just to be a camp knife, just to wear on your side. This thing is a phenomenal knife. I have done so much with this thing. I mean, food prep, I have prepped food with this. And I mean, it's so sharp. I mean, razor sharp. I've cut tomatoes with it. I've cut onions and different things like that because of that grind. But it would be much better if it was smooth stainless instead of that textured black coating. But a really good knife. That's $70. $70. If you're just looking for a good knife that you can just put on your hip and just in general EDC life, that's a good knife right there. That's a good EDC knife. A lot of people like the stainless look, the satin finish and stuff, especially for EDC. But I've EDC'd this thing before. It's a really good EDC knife. It's affordable. It's got a good sheath on it. I like the handles. It has a sleek look. They're a little too smooth for me. I'd like there to be a little bit. It's that wood. I mean, super slick, but all around good knife. You all have seen this knife before. This is the Essie. This is another one of those 1095 high carbon steel knives. You know, it's just like this. This is a knife that you're going to be able to just all around camp task. Could you feather stick with it? Yes, you could, just like you could this. That's not what this knife is meant for. Could you baton with it? Yes, you could. Would you want to? No. First of all, the blade's not very long, so you're going to be having a hard time batoning with this right here. But it's coated red. This is the Blade HQ exclusive, Fire Ant Red, USA Essie knives. The great thing about Essie is they have the best warranty in the business. A no questions asked. I can take this right now, take a hammer and intentionally break this sucker in half, send it to them and say, I just didn't like the knife. I didn't like the color. And they're going to send me a brand new one back. No questions asked. And the red is cool because you're going to have less risk of losing it in the woods and stuff like that. But this is another one of those knives that's really just meant for a round general camp task. You know, cutting string, cutting rope, different things like that, cutting boxes. This is not meant for, you can baton with it. It's 1095. You can feather stick with it, but it's not going to be very capable. You know, I know people are going to tell you that it is. Oh, you can definitely do it with that. You can definitely do it with that. It's capable. Yes, it's capable, but I wouldn't want to do it. It's just, you're going to be there all day with that little thing. But this is for a neck knife. This is a phenomenal neck knife. Just to go camping. If you're going to go to the woods, you don't need just a knife that you can baton with. You need a knife that you can do different things. Like I said, food prep. You know, if you're going to be hunting, you're going to need a knife that you can, you know, skin with, that you can do different things like that. You can, you know, process animals and stuff like that. A knife like this is capable of all of those things. So if you did need to feather stick in a pinch, in an emergency, you can. If you do need to baton in an emergency, you can. But overall, it's not what they're made for. Now this knife is Sandvik 14C 28N. And this is the Joker Trampero. Now Joker is a really good bushcraft knife. They have the Nomad, the Campero. They have they have just all kinds of them. They've got a bunch of them. They have a really good Nesmuck. They're around 100 to 120 bucks. You know, you can get really big Nomads, like really long Nomads. This is a really good little knife. This is a thick knife. It's got a good blade stock. It's 14C 28N. Full tang, nice wood handles, a good lanyard hole with a lanyard on it so you're not going to drop it and lose it. This is a knife with another flat grind. You know, it's not got the Scandi grind. It just doesn't. Now you can baton with this. People baton with the Jokers all the time. People go out and process wood with the Jokers all the time. These are bushcraft knives. You can do anything with them. They are not going to have the durability and the strength of a high carbon knife. They're not. But they're going to last a lot longer because they're corrosion resistant. It's a really good knife. This one right here is about $90 for the Trampero. I should have got the Campero. But I liked the look of this one. But this is a really, really good knife. The sheath comes with the dangler. Now you can take that dangler off and just use the belt loop, or you can use it with the dangler, and that's a really good quality sheath for $90. And this is an excellent bushcraft knife. You can baton with it, you can feather stick with it. Again, it's not going to give you the results that the Scandi grind will. But here's the thing about this. Because of this thickness and the strength and durability, you can baton with it, But this is one that you can baton, but at the same time, food prep. You can do that thing. Like this is more closely aligned with food prep and things. That's really what this is for. Food prep, general camp, around the camp task. This, you can do that food prep and different things, but you can also do the batoning and the feather sticking, and you can do it all. It's not, tailored to one or the other. This is tailored to one or the other. This is tailored to one. This is tailored to feather sticking and processing wood. This is not for general around the camp task. It's just not. This is. This you can do everything with. This you can baton with it. You can food prep with it. You can cut rope and string with it. You can process an animal with this because of that grind. You can do anything. It's got a really good point on it. It's got a really sharp point, so you can, you can dig. You can do different things like that. It's just an all-around great knife. If you're wanting a knife that you don't want to have to spend $300 on, $200 or $300 on, but you want a knife that is completely capable of whatever you're going to run across, give Jokers a try, because they are great knives. I really like Jokers. I highly recommend them. It's got a really sharp spine, another knife that you can ferro rod strike with, and you can do anything with it. You can do anything with this knife right here. This knife does not have a lot of capability issues. You baton the heck out of it, you're not going to run into issues. Feather stick the heck out of it. You can feather stick it and then take it right over, wipe your blade off, and start, processing your lunch, processing your dinner. You get an animal, you can skin it, clean the blade, process the food, the vegetables and stuff like that. Then as soon as you're done, wipe it off and go and start batoning with it. This knife is capable of everything that you need to do around a campground. It's not one or the other like most of these knives have been. This is the first knife that we've come to that's really good at everything across the board. And they're around $100, $90 to $100. Again, you can get different Jokers for different prices, different ones. I would go, if I bought this again, now I know a lot more about them. I would probably, I'm just going to be honest, I'm not going to use this for the wood prepping and stuff like that. I'm going to use something like the bushcraft because of that Scandi grind. It just makes it so much easier. So I'm not going to do that. So I would probably go with their nest muck. They have one of the best nest mucks you can find for bushcrafting. The Joker nest muck is awesome. It really is. It looks good. It feels good in the hand. I've held one. I know somebody that's got one. It's a really nice knife. I want it really bad, so I'm probably going to get one eventually. The Nomad is really nice. The Nomad has a lot more size to it, a lot more heft and power. It's just far more capable. It's not machete big, but it's big. It's much bigger than this. So give Joker a chance. Give Joker a try. If you want a really good bushcraft knife and you're on a budget, but you want something that can do everything, right there. Look no farther than Joker. They can do anything you need them to do. I just got this knife, and I have not done anything with it yet. But man, I've been watching a bunch of videos, and I already know all about the Adonis. This knife, it's crew wear. They don't put scales on it because it's heavy already, and it does come with paracord, so you can pair wrap it and stuff. But I am in the process of ordering aftermarket scales for it, micarta scales. So I just don't like the pair wrap knives. But this is a knife. Now I got this for $200. Normally everywhere you look, they're $250. Where I got it at, there's a few more of them for $200, brand new in the box. At Bud's Gun Shop, they've got these. They've got black ones and they've got the flat earth. I went with the flat earth. I probably should have went with the black, but I took what they had on the shelf. I didn't want to wait on them to go in the back and dig through and find the other ones. It's got a nice blood groove here in the blade, you know, so you can do food prep and stuff like that. It's not going to get stuck. This is not a knife. You know, it's got a false edge right there. You know, could you baton with this? I've watched them baton on some videos, baton away with it. But if you baton with this, you're going to do more destruction to the wood that you're batoning with than you're going to do to the wood that you're batoning. Because that, I mean, it's a false edge right there. It's going to eat that wood up. But it is capable. It's not, you know, you can feather stick with this. The grind is definitely not a grind that you're going to be wanting to feather stick with. Can it? It'll chew through some wood. It is capable. It's crew wear. It's the Adamas. It can do anything. This is one of those knives that's an all-around camp knife. It's not that one or the other. You know, that's this knife. I mean, it can do everything. It can. The videos I've seen, the great thing about this is how indestructible it is. That's the great thing about this. It's not indestructible. You can break anything. But I've been watching the Dutch boys do a video on this, and they put it through the ringer. They do everything they can. I think that they did break the tip off. They dulled the heck out of the blade. They had it all, the blade was just all beat up and stuff, but it didn't break, it didn't snap or anything like that. And they put it through the ringer. But also, it was not good at batoning wood. It was not good at the feather sticking. It would do it. Again, it would do it. Just because something can do it doesn't mean it should do it. This is not a knife that you are going to want to take out to the woods and do that kind of stuff with. But if you want a knife that you can go out to the woods with in case of emergency, have something that's super durable that you can get through anything with in case of emergency. It's not going to be the best, but you ain't got to worry about it breaking, snapping. You can do anything at all you need to do with it. This is a knife right here. You can do anything with it. And the great thing about having a paracord wrap is that's another emergency, you know, asset that you have. If you ever were in an emergency, you've got paracord wrapped handle right there. You take that para wrap off, and what, 7 strings in it, unless you got the battle cord, and then it's got the copper line in it, the fishing line in it, the fire starting line in it. That stuff is awesome. If you're not seeing it, check it out. It's a paracord that's got all the other cords in it as well. It's pretty awesome. But if you're wanting a knife that you can actually go out into the woods and process or something like that, that's not this knife. You can do it. I keep saying it. You can do it, but don't. It's not what it's meant for. Work smarter, not harder. Crew wear is durable. The reason I had this in here is because it is so durable. You can take this to the woods and you can do anything to it. You can beat it, you can throw it, you can drop it, you can hit it, you can do anything that you want to this thing, and it's going to take the abuse. It's going to take the abuse. So if you were out and about, you know, if I was out in the woods and I got injured or I got stranded or I got hit with a snowstorm or something like that, this is one of the most reliable knives because you can do anything with it and you're not risking it breaking or snapping or anything like that. Losing, maybe, but you're not got to worry about anything else. You know, I promise you this knife right here is probably, well, not probably, this knife is going to baton way better than this knife will. Way better. Everything about it, the blade shape, the spine, everything, the blade stock, everything about it, this knife is going to baton better than this knife. But if I was going to bet money, this knife is going to snap in half way before this knife is. So it's like one of those things where you got to weigh what's the purpose of your knife? What's the purpose of it? If you're just taking it for prepping and processing food, you know, something like this is all you need. Or something like this is all you need. It's all you need. You know, take it, prep, process your food. If you've got a good knife on your hip, or you're taking a kitchen knife, you know, for instance, Gerber and stuff sell those camping kitchen sets. If you got something like that, you're taking, so your food prep is all taken care of, and you don't need that. You're just looking for something to process some wood. This is all you need, right there. Just this Mora bushcraft, and there's nothing you can't do with this thing, and it's going to hold up to all the abuse you want to give it. You know, but if you want one knife to do everything, this Joker right here is a great knife, and it's going to do it all. Now, if you are going to the woods and you are not planning on doing any of that stuff, you're just going out on a hike. You're just going out on a hike. You're not planning on doing anything at all, but you want to be prepared just in case something really bad happens and you end up being out there for a little bit before you can get help or get out of the woods or get out of a bad situation or anything else like that. That's where this knife comes in handy, because you could put this on your bag, on your molly pack with the leather wrap or whatever, and the sheath here. Strap it right to your bag, and this is an emergency plan. This is insurance policy. That's what this is. This isn't a, I'm going out and going to feather stick or process some wood, or I'm going to go out and I'm going to process some food and you know, prep some lunches and dinners or anything like that. It's not what this knife is. But if it's a, I just need a knife that whatever happens, God forbid, just in case something happens, I need a knife that I can 100% rely on. It's going to do me right for short term and get me through anything. Even if it doesn't, it's not the easiest job. Like prepping food's not the easiest, or prepping the wood's not the easiest, but I know for a fact it's going to do it. It's not going to break. It's not going to chip. It's not going to dull, because the crew wear is going to hold up its edge a long, long time. This right here, you can't go any better. I mean, that thing on your bag, doesn't matter what happens, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Again, if I'm going out there and it's something I'm planning, that's not the knife I'm taking. But, you know, it's scenarios, it's situations. Use what you have what you use, but plan out what you're going to use as well. Think, work smart, not hard. This next knife, you all have seen this knife before. This is the Lion Steel M5. Now this knife is one of those first knives that we're getting to that, I mean, it's just on another level. It's just on another level. This is the first knife. The next three knives are another level knives. These are knives that you can do anything with. You just show this to a tree and it's going to get out of your way. This knife right here, this is Bowler M390. Incredibly thick blade stock. This is a heavy one. This has got a full tang, and it's got a taco or a canoe G10 handles. Basically, they carve out the middle. It's one piece. It's not two scales that slap on. It's one piece that they carve the middle out, and like a sandwich or a taco, they fit the blade down in there, and then they put a couple pins through, and it holds it in there. Now this is 3D G10, so it has that texture to it. Now, this knife is the first one that we're to. For instance, feather stick, I can baton, do whatever I want. But I'm not going to be trying to take trees down with this thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be trying to do that. Could you, in case of emergency, a small tree? Absolutely, if you need to. I wouldn't really want to do that to this knife. It's not meant for that. You know, this knife, same exact thing. Could you? Yeah, you could. A small one, you know, but you wouldn't really want to. This knife, I can go to the woods with this knife And I can baton with this knife. I can feather stick with this knife. This knife, I can walk up to a tree, 6-inch diameter, 10 inches in diameter, and I can chop that tree down with this thing. What I can't chop away, I can take it and I can baton, and I'm going to take that tree down, and I'll dust the blade off, hone it a little bit, and just go right on about my day. This is that first knife that we've come to that it don't have a lot of limitations. It does not have a lot of limitations. The size of the blade, it's not going to snap, it's not going to break, it's not going to chip. The majority of the blade is not sharp enough to strike a ferro rod, but it has one spot right here that does have a sharp spine. That is designed for that one area to strike a ferro rod. So even striking a ferro rod, you don't have to have the entire blade able to, with the sharp spine, to strike a ferro rod. You just have to have one spot, and that's what that is. That one spot right there, boom, strike a ferro rod and you're good to go. This is that knife that you can food prep. You can't just skin an animal. You can kill an animal with this thing. You can do anything you want. It's got an incredibly strong blade stock, so you could use this to beat, to bang, to hammer. You could hammer something if you need to, whatever you need to. This knife right here doesn't have many capability limits. This is that first knife that we've gotten to that it can do anything and everything. It is one of those knives that you can put on your back. Like I said, this right here, you can put this on your back. You don't plan on doing anything with it, but if you got into a situation, it's going to be able to take care of you. This is the knife that you put on your back that you're hoping something happens because you want to use this knife. It's going to chop through wood. It's going to feather stick. It's going to baton. It's going to, like I said, meal prep, whatever you need to do. This thing will slice through whatever and keep going. This thing wants to work. This thing wants to. It's a Lion Steel M5, and it is one of the best feeling knives that you will ever put in your hands. It feels so good. You can feel the power when you hold this thing. Now, and it's not what you would think in price. You would think that this thing is a $300 knife. It's not. You can get this knife right here for $150, $160 tops. And that's the great thing about this knife. You can get this knife and everything it's capable of doing. The magnificent power, the look. Look at that. It is gorgeous. Look at that gorgeous sheath. Black leather sheath. That is well made. The stitching is such high quality stitching. It's designed so you can use on molly setups, molly rigs, on backpacks. The retention is excellent. It does have a belt loop here as well, so you can use it as a belt loop. This sheath is so nice. It's Italian made, and everything they make is high quality. They still do the what's it called, like they have like families that do things like they have like I can't think of the word for it. Somebody said it in the comments, and they also talk about it in a like that new Rings of Power. They actually have it's almost like trades. They still have trades over there that that are like communities of people that do those, and you go down a street and it's nothing but these, and you go down another street and it's nothing but these. They have streets that are nothing but blacksmiths and stuff over there, and they take this stuff serious, and they make high quality stuff. This Lion Steel M5 is one of the best knives I have, and you can do anything with it, anything at all. I'm telling you, I have never seen something I can't do with this knife. It is so strong and powerful, and it's Bowler M390. Bowler M390, so it's going to hold its edge incredibly well. I've never sharpened this thing. and I've done a lot with it, and it's still razor sharp, and I've never sharpened it. That's the truth. I tell you all the truth. I would tell you all. You could see on there where I've sharpened pencils, and I've cut boxes, and I've cut food with it, steaks. I'm feather sticked with it before when we went camping. I've done everything. I've never sharpened this thing one time, never, and it is still going strong. That is a knife that you can do anything with. The next knife, the same exact way. It's another Essie, and I'm gonna finish these up really quick. This is the Essie 4. The Essie 4 with its 3D G10 handles, contour G10 handles. It's got a really nice finger choil right there. It's got a spine that's sharp, but it's not sharp enough to strike a ferro rod, just to be honest. It's got a good hilt here with that lanyard hole. You can use it for banging or whatever. It's got good aggressive jimping right there on top. This is S35VN, so it's a good corrosion resistant stainless steel. It's going to hold its edge really well. This is another knife that you can do anything with. You can take a tree down with it, you can baton with it, you can feather stick with it, and it is going to move the wood out of the way. It is just going to slice through that wood like it ain't even there. It's just not. Now the difference between this having a flat grind and slicing through that wood, and this having a flat grind and not slicing through that wood, is a couple things. The blade stock, how thick that is, the power behind it, how heavy it is, how much force you can put to it, the kind of edge it has. This has a good edge, but it's a high carbon steel edge, so it's not very thick, and it doesn't have a good I mean, it's sharp, but it doesn't have a good edge geometry. This is a really thick blade stock, but it's that stainless steel. It has an excellent edge geometry. So it's thick, it's heavy, it's powerful. You can get more pressure behind it. You know, you can really go to work with it. And that edge geometry, that really high, hard S35VN steel edge is just going to glide right through that wood. You can baton with this, like I said. You can take down trees with it. You can do anything. Now this is $160, maybe $180 right now because of inflation and stuff like that. Now you can get an SE4 much cheaper. You can get them 120, 130 bucks, but you're not going to get it in the S35VN. You're not going to get it with a 3D printed or a 3D contoured handles, G10 handles, but you're still getting a really good SE4 that's capable of everything. Most of them are high carbon steel, the SE4s are, and you can beat and bang them and stuff like that. With this, you're getting a lot of those same capabilities that you're getting with those other ones, except for you're getting a corrosion resistance. You know, it's going to hold up longer because of the corrosion resistance. It's going to hold its edge longer in the woods because it's stainless steel, but you can still do the same things with it. You know, this knife is more powerful than this knife. I would take this to a tree before I would this, but I will take this to a tree as well. No problem. This thing is powerful. It's durable. It's another one of these, the last three knives, the Alliance Steel M5, this knife, and the last one I'm going to show you. All three are knives. They can do everything. They're all around superstars. They're flat grind, so you can prep food, you can baton, you can feather stick, you can do anything. All general EDC camping or EDC carrying on an EDC basis, like around in your daily. I mean, this is a little too big for me to EDC, but you could EDC this. It's a lot smaller, but it's still a pretty good sized knife. You know, it's just powerful. This thing is really good. If you're looking for a really good knife that can do anything and hold up and last for a long time, and you want the Essie, because remember, Essie has a good warranty. It does not have the warranty that this has. This is around the same price as this. This is bigger, more capable, stronger, better blade steel, the Bowler M390. Just all the way around, this is a better knife than this. But you're still able to do most of the same stuff with this, just not as good as you can with this. But with this, you're getting a warranty that is second to none. If I damage this, I'm out my money. I got to buy another one, unless I can really prove that it's the knife's fault. With this, it's no questions. I'm getting another one. You can't put a price on that. That is one of the reasons why I recommend the Essie knives so highly. It doesn't matter. You can do anything with this knife that you can with any other knife on this table, but the warranty is the reason to get this knife. If it wasn't for the warranty, I would say go with this knife, because this is just stronger, more powerful, it's bigger, more cutting edge. In every single way, this is a better knife than this. But the warranty is what sells this knife. The name and the warranty is the reason why you'd go with this. You can still do all the same stuff. It's just not as big, not as much cutting edge, not as powerful, but the warranty. You cannot beat that warranty. And the last knife is the knife that I have absolutely fallen in love with. I just got it. You all have already seen it a couple times. I can't say it enough. I cannot wait to get an opportunity to use this daggone thing, because everything I have seen in videos, and I mean, this knife, guys, you should have known that this was gonna what it was gonna be. I mean, I have watched the videos, and they say that this knife is the best at wood prep of any knife they've ever seen. Gideon's Tactical is a really good YouTube channel. If you don't know about Gideon's Tactical, watch him. He does a lot of outdoor stuff, but his main thing is testing knives, giving his honest opinion, evaluating them, different things like that. Him and his brother both say that this knife right here is one of the best knives that they've ever tested. This is the TJ Schwartz Lost Trail 5 with its A2 blade steel. That's a tool steel, so it's incredibly hard and strong. It's incredibly strong and durable and hard. It's got rich light handles. The wetter these get, the more gummy they get, the more tacky they get, so they're going to hold in your hand really well. It's got a butt down here at the end, so you can beat and bang on it. Of course, it's full tang, really thick blade stock, incredibly sharp spine, so you can feather stick with it. But this knife, I haven't got to feather stick with this thing yet. But this is a knife that they say that you can just literally, the wood just shaves off like hair on your face when you got a razor. It just, and the videos I've seen, it's like that. They just literally, just like it's nothing. Some of these, when you're feather sticking, like even this one, it's really good at feather sticking, but you still got to put force through it. You got to push. You got to, you got to work. You got to force that knife through that wood. You got to push. You got to do that job. The knife is going to do the work for you, but you got to put some pressure behind that. You got to put some elbow grease into it. The wood's just not going to say, I give up, let me get out of your way. With this, on the videos that I was watching, and check them out, Gideon's Tactical with the Lost Trail 5. Check out those videos and watch and see what he does with this. I mean, he literally takes that wood, and it's just like he's barely putting any pressure to it. It's like he's taking it through butter, and that wood just shaves off of there like it's nothing. This knife you can get for $200, and I'm telling you right now, I have fallen in love with this knife. It's one of the greatest knives I've ever had. Now, I've already had the TJ Schwartz Overland that I showed you all in some other videos and stuff with the Magna Cut blade, and I love that knife, and I wanted this one, but this was sold out when I got the Overland. That's why I went with the Overland, and I was happy that I did, and I still am, because if I'd gotten this first, I might not have gotten the Overland. But getting the Overland first, knowing how much I wanted this, I knew I was still getting this. So now I've got them both. It's a win-win. It's a great Kydex sheath. It's got a steel plate on the back to hold your leather belt strap in place or belt loop in place. I mean, this thing is so well made. $200. And I'm telling you, it don't matter what you're doing. This is the best knife on the table. This is the best all around camping, wood prepping. Doesn't matter what you're doing with it. This knife is going to do it. Now, it's way too big and heavy. That's the thing about this knife. Man, this knife is heavy. I ain't gonna lie. This knife is heavy. That thing has got some weight to it. So I wouldn't EDC this or anything like that. But I'm telling you, if you want a good knife that you can go survival mode with or go camping with, you want to go to the woods for a week and just get lost and just chop away at some trees and process some wood and skin some animals and just whatever you want to do, that Lost Trail 5 is going to do it as well as anything out there on the market right now. Every one of these knives is good as at least one thing, you know, every one of them. So that's what you need to do. When you're looking at your knives and what you're going to spend and what you're going to buy, you have to look at how much you're wanting to spend. That's the very first thing. What do you want to spend? All right, so I'm going to spend $80. Well, let's come up with, I'm going to spend $100. All right, now think about, what am I going to do with this knife? Here's the thing that I always get, and I tell people the same thing with me. One of the reasons why when I buy this knife, I have to tell myself mentally, I know it can do all those things. But the probability of me doing those things, especially for the next few years, actually doing it on a consistent basis, is not very high because I got little boys and I'm a full-time dad. I wish you understood how much full-time dad I am. I'm a full-time dad, so I'm not going to be out there. Just because that knife is capable of doing that stuff, I'm not going. So people will buy knives because they're capable of this and that and this and that, and ooh, it can do this, and I might need to. When are you ever going to really need to do that? So do you really care? Does it really matter? So instead of buying a knife because it can do something, buy a knife because it's something that you actually need. So if I was going to spend $100, I would think, I'm probably far more likely to do something with EDC and food prep than I will actually being out there and processing a bunch of wood. I don't have a fireplace and I don't have the opportunity to beat and bang a baton and stuff like that. So I would probably, if I was going to be spending $100, you know, I'm probably going to go with this Joker right here because it can do everything, but it's going to food prep. And if I am ever in the chance out there in the woods and I do need to process some wood and I do get lucky and, ooh, I'm getting to go camping this weekend, so I'm going to do some stuff, I've got it and it can do that. You know, if the chances, if I live in a city and I'm never going to be batoning any wood and feather sticking any wood and stuff like that, I don't need to spend my money on this Mora. It's great to have a basic because you can use this for everything, fishing, different things like that, and plus they're so cheap. You need one. Every, you know, knife collector needs it, but you don't need it in Mora. So it, you know, why not get this right here? You can use this for EDC. You can use this for food prep. You can use this for cutting boxes. You can use this for cutting rope, for anything that you're going to come across on a general EDC basis. You know, just because a knife is capable of doing something, it's like I tell my children's mother all the time, oh, I had to buy it. Why'd you have to buy that thing? Because it was on sale. It was such a good deal. Okay, but we're never going to use that. It doesn't matter how good the deal is. If you're never going to use it, it's a waste of money. It costs too much. It can be $100 and it's on sale for $20. But if it's something you're literally never, ever, ever going to use, that's $20 you wasted. So that's what you have to do when you're thinking about buying these knives. What are you going to buy? What are you going to use? How much can you spend? And what's the most bang for your buck? When you put that together, You know, don't buy knives just because they're the best thing on the market, because they're the newest thing, because they're the coolest thing, because, oh, everybody else has got them, or you saw these YouTube videos and these guys had them and they were singing their praises. Yeah, it's great if you can have the money to spend and waste, and not really waste, but invest and you just have them to have them. But it's far better to get a knife that you're actually going to carry every day. One of the things that I hate about this knife, and I'm definitely going to hate about this knife, don't hate them, but the process that I hate is that I love them so much and I'm never going to get to use them that much and carry them that much. It's almost like they're just sitting there screaming at me, take me outside and use me. But I don't have, what am I going to do? Now I find myself every time I walk outside, I'm looking at trees. Does that tree really need to be there right now? Can we do without one tree around here? We don't need that tree in that yard over there, do we? I'm just trying to find places where I can put this thing to work. That's one of the problems that comes with having knives like this. So, you know, you take that into consideration. Take that into consideration before you go out buying these knives, because if it's capable of chopping down the biggest oak on the planet, but you're never going to be in a situation to chop down the biggest oak on the planet, what are you buying it to chop down the biggest oak on the planet for? It's pointless. That's a task you don't need. So it's better to get a knife that you do need, a knife that you are going to use. It's better to have it, better to use what you carry and carry what you use, you know, than have something that's just super, super capable. And never, that's the thing that listen at me, I'm saying that, and I've got all these knives that don't do it. But one of the reasons why I buy these knives is because I'm really trying to make it go with this YouTube channel with my knives, but also because I'm a knife collector. So I want to have all these knives. I want to have something of everything, whether I use them or not. I just want to have them. For me, that's the biggest thing. I want them just because I like having them. So I don't care if I'm ever going to get to do it. I still want it. I'll look at a tree and dare that tree to make me mad. I'm just joking. I'm not chopping down any trees. But you know, that's the thing about knives. Knives are fun, but they're also relative. What you're going to use your knife for, I might not use my knife for. What I might need a knife for, you might not need a knife for. The benefits that you see in a knife might not be benefits and qualities that I see in a knife or need in a knife, and vice versa. So think about what you're going to spend. Come up with the perfect knife for your needs. That's what you buy. And if you do that, then what you'll do is after a while of buying several knives, you will literally have a bunch of knives that are used, that's got the scars of wear on them, that's been, you know, they've paid their way, they've earned their keep. They're not knives that have been sitting in a safe. They're not safe queens like a lot of my knives are, to be perfectly honest. I've got all these knives and I can't use them. I can't carry that many. You can only carry one knife. It's like my, you know, all these guns and stuff. But honestly, how many guns can I hold at one time? You can only hold one at a time. You can only shoot one at a time. You know, so same thing with knives. But I'm rambling now. But I always ramble about knives. You know, knives are investments. You'll never get your money back out of them. But if you use your knives, you'll always get your money back out of them. Always. So it is what it is, guys. I really can't wait for this January 3rd, 2025 to come along so that I can give somebody that $200 budget. And that way, if you do want, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go one step farther. I will go one step farther, guys. This is just for this one video and for the people that see this video. If the person that wins that budget decides that the knife that they want is the Lost Trail 5, I will pay the extra money for the Lost Trail 5 so that you can experience this Lost Trail 5, because it's that daggone nice. Other than that, it's a $200 budget to Blade HQ. But if you've watched this video and you're the person that wins, you can call me on that and say, hey, by the way, I want that Lost Trail 5, and that's more than $200, and I'm going to pay for it. I'm a man of my word. I do what I say, and I say what I do. My yes means yes, and my no means no. Scripture says that. Like, your yes means yes, and your no means no. And that's the way that it is. So, guys,
I love making these videos. I am sorry that I rambled on so long about these daggone knives, but I love talking about them. I love showing them to you guys. If there's anything you want to know, if there's anything you want to talk about, if there's any knives that you guys have about camping or anything like that, if there's any stories about camping or wood processing that you want to throw out there at me, let me have them. I love the comments. I love the feedback. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Maybe you're going to win that $200. I appreciated everything, guys. I'm Chris, the Unprofessional Dad. Until the next time, remember, keep your lives full and your knives sharp. Also, be nice to somebody. Say something kind to somebody that you meet or run across. You never know how much that means to them. They might be having a horrible day, and the thing that you might say might change it around for them. So have a good one, guys. I'll see you all next time.